Hey everyone, and welcome to a mini deep dive all about Appian developers. We're going to keep this one short and sweet because we know you're busy. But you've got questions about hiring them, and we've got answers, all based on what we found at theperfectdeveloper.com. And by the way, if you want to skip all the hassle and just find the perfect Appian developer right now for your project, head over to theperfectdeveloper.com and answer their 5 simple questions. It's seriously like a matchmaking service for your tech needs. Okay, back to our deep dive. Appian, it's a kind of big deal these days, right? It helps businesses build powerful applications really, really fast. But what does an Appian developer actually do?
They're kind of like maestros. They take all those complex business processes, all those things that could be a tangled up mess, and they turn it into like a symphony of efficiency.
So it's coding, but more than just lines of code. What makes them different from your typical software developer?
Right. Well, that's where the low code thing comes in. Think of it like, those high-tech building blocks. They're not writing every single line of code. They're using those pre-built components inside Appian and assembling them and configuring them to create solutions.
That doesn't mean it's simple, right? I mean, these folks still need some serious technical skills.
Absolutely. They need to know Appian's language and tools. But it goes beyond that too. One skill that's really important is process modeling. It's basically mapping out how things actually work in the business. So they're visualizing and optimizing the workflows, making sure everything is streamlined.
So they got to understand the big picture of the business, not just the tech stuff.
Yeah.
What else should somebody look for when they're hiring for this role?
Well, you want someone who can build within Appian, of course, but also someone who really gets your business goals. Someone who can take your goals and actually translate them into solutions. Communication
is key, right? I mean, can you imagine explaining a complex workflow to somebody who doesn't speak Appian?
Yeah, you're totally right. They need to be able to bridge that gap, explain things in plain English to stakeholders who might not be super tech savvy.
Okay, so we're looking for a tech savvy business process guru who can communicate really well. And how much does all that talent cost? What are we talking about salary-wise?
That's the million-dollar question. Salaries can vary a lot based on experience level, location, and skills.
Sure, but there must be some general ranges we can talk about, right?
Okay, so you'll probably find junior developers with maybe a couple years of experience starting around $80,000. And for senior developers, especially those with those in-demand skills, you could be looking at $150,000 or more. And don't forget, location matters. ThePerfectDeveloper.com's data shows that Appian developers in cities like New York or San Francisco, they get paid a premium.
Yeah, it makes sense, those tech hubs and all. And I'm guessing it's not just about salary, is it? There are different ways to actually hire these folks too, right?
Exactly. You've got options. You can bring them on full-time, hire them part-time, build an in-house team, or outsource the work. And the best fit really depends on your company's needs budget and the project.
Okay, so full-time gives you that dedicated expertise.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost more. What about part-time? When does that make sense?
Part-time is a good choice if your Appian needs are more project-based, or if you need to be flexible with budget and workload. It's a way to bring in that expertise without making that long-term commitment.
That makes sense, but wouldn't you run into some availability issues with a part-time developer? I mean, they're only there for a limited number of hours, right?
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. If you need someone who's always available, then part-time might not be the way to go.
Okay, so we've got full-time, part-time. What about building that in-house team versus outsourcing? How do those options stack up?
Well, if you hire in-house, you can build a team that's part of your company culture. You have more control and communication is easier.
But I imagine finding the right people could be tough, especially if you're not in one of those big tech hubs.
That's true, yeah. You might be limited by who's available in your area.
So outsourcing could be the answer, right? You can tap into a global pool of talent.
Exactly. Outsourcing opens up a lot of possibilities. You get a wider range of skills and experience, and often at a better price. And it frees up your internal team to focus on other important things.
Sounds like a win-win. But are there any downsides to outsourcing? I mean, managing a team that's all over the world, that's got to be tricky.
It can be. Communication and project management take more effort when you're working with a remote team. And you might have less control over the day-to-day stuff.
So it's a trade-off. You get that wider pool of talent and potentially lower costs, but you might have to deal with some communication challenges.
Exactly. That's why you got to think carefully about your needs before you make a decision.
And that's where theperfectdeveloper.com can really help. They have so much data and expertise when it comes to finding Appian talent.
Totally. They can help you figure out the pros and cons of each option. They can connect you with vetted talent. And they even provide insights into market trends and salaries.
Well, this has been incredibly helpful already. But before we wrap up this mini deep dive, I have one more question for you.
Okay, go ahead. What really stands out to me is how Appian developers need that mix of technical skills and business smarts. They're not just coding away in a silo, they're actually solving real problems for businesses.
Yeah, it's almost like they need to speak two different languages, tech speak and business speak.
Yeah.
It's really impressive when you think about it. You're not just filling a tech role, you're bringing in a problem solver.
Right, exactly. And when you find that right, Appian developer, it's like you've got a secret weapon on your team. They can streamline your processes, make you more efficient, and ultimately help you get better results.
It's kind of crazy how much impact one person can have.
It really is. And, if we look at the bigger picture, this whole low-code thing is pretty fascinating. It's all about giving businesses the power to innovate faster.
Yeah, I get that. It's like more people can build apps now, not just the hardcore coder.
Exactly. It's opening up so many opportunities.
Okay, so just to recap, we talked about what Appian developers do, the skills to look for, and the different ways you can hire them. That's a lot to cover in such a short time.
It is, but hopefully it's helpful. It should give our listeners a good starting point.
Totally. And if you're ready to find that perfect Appian developer, make sure to check out theperfectdeveloper.com. Their 5 questions tool is seriously amazing. It helps you figure out the best way to hire for your needs.
It's like having a guide for the whole process, from figuring out what you need to finding the right candidate.
And they make it so much easier to hire.
Yeah.
Especially in a specialized field like Appian development.
Oh, yeah. Their network of developers is top-notch. You're connecting with people who have a track record.
Like an exclusive talent pool.
Exactly. And they handle all the details for you. Contracts, project management, all that stuff. So you can just focus on running your business.
Which brings up a good point. What processes in your business could benefit from automation? Something to think about.
It's a question worth asking. There are so many possibilities out there.
Well, that about wraps up our mini deep dive into the world of hiring Appian developers.
We hope you found it helpful and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
So as you're thinking about your Appian strategy and how you can use this platform, don't forget about those 5 simple questions at theperfectdeveloper.com.
Yeah. It's the easiest way to get started. Those questions can really help. They help you figure out what you need and what your goals are, and then they point you in the right direction.
And even if you're not ready to hire right now, just answering those questions can give you some great ideas and help you see what's possible with Appian.
It's like a brainstorming session, but with a roadmap for success.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe you'll realize that automating some things could really help your company grow.
It's worth looking into.
Well, that brings us to the end of our mini deep dive, all about hiring Appian developers.
We hope you enjoyed it.
And that it gave you some valuable insights.
Whether you're a tech expert or just starting to learn about automation, there's always something new to discover.
And if you're looking for a trusted guide, theperfectdeveloper.com is the place to be.
They have the knowledge, the expertise, and the network to help you find the right Appian developer.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep into the world of tech and business.
And don't forget to keep those automation ideas flowing. You never know what you might achieve